Welcome back. You're still watching Power Breakfast. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has directed Treasury to allocate more funds to drought mitigation in the country. The additional funds will be spent in engaging the National Youth Service and other security agencies in the distribution of food and water to hunger-stricken communities. Let's watch his story.
The weatherman's prediction of difficult times in the first half of this year is coming true. The current dry spell, one that has left over 1.5 million people in arid and semi-arid counties all over the country grappling with hunger, 23 counties now facing a crisis. On Wednesday morning, Cabinet Secretaries and Principal Secretaries of Devolution, Agriculture, Treasury and Labour and East African Affairs would brief President Uhuru Kenyatta of the crisis that was unfolding in parts of the country. The President has now directed Treasury to realign the national budget to address the drought situation, with security agencies and the National Youth Service to help in distribution of water and food. This coming after the government allocated 21.6 billion shillings towards drought relief efforts. Other measures undertaken by the government include purchase of livestock from pastoralist communities and the scaling up of school feeding programs, a vital initiative as schools in affected areas grapple with falling student numbers. In Nairobi, the water levels at Ndakaini Dam, Nairobi's main water source, still cause for concern.
The experts here, we've been briefed by our engineers, tell us that this is the lowest level and Ndakaini has dropped. And we're below 50%, but today we're being told it's slightly below 45%.
Looking over Ndakaini Dam, it is immediately clear that the water levels have fallen greatly, the cyclic nature of weather patterns now making it vital to put in place long-term mitigation measures. The Water and Environment Cabinet Secretaries touring the dam and the Northern Collector Tunnel, which once completed will help to harvest water, directing it to Ndakaini Dam for storage and distribution.
When the rains come, we are expecting these rains in April. These rivers that have dropped in levels will swell. There will be floods, and we must ensure that those flood flows are harvested into the tunnel.
The tunnel is scheduled for completion in June 2018. Construction works ongoing even after opposition leader Raila Odinga raised the alarm, saying the project will divert water from sources in Aberdare to Ndakaini.
Yes, a dry nation. That is what we want to discuss now, and we are very much honored and privileged to have with us in studio Cabinet Secretary for Devolution and Planning, Bwana Mwangi Kiunjuri. Good morning and welcome to Power Breakfast.
Good morning.
Karibu sana. It's a drought situation that we want to talk about, and of course we've been it's something that has been going on for a while now. Now, from the government's assessment, how dire is the situation in terms of numbers? How many people are affected? How many counties are affected from your perspective?
The situation has continued to the extreme side. We were discussing in October, because that is when we received the first early warning system, which is conducted by the National Drought Management Authority. They do it in collaboration with other government agencies, including the Weather Forecast Department.
Yes.
And the Weather Forecast Department was also very clear. The weather forecast, the way they forecast the rains in the country, the long rains, the short rains. For the first time, they were really almost perfect. By then, the long rains had failed. And we were now discussing what would happen if the short rains also fail. In October, the 23 ASO counties, which are heavily affected by the drought, by that time we had still 10 counties that were moderate. The way we define the situation is from moderate, severe, extreme, and now it comes to rehabilitation, when everything now has gone down. And by October last year, 10 counties were normal. Normal means the Kenyans will continue feeding, either there is drought or no drought. But the extent of feeding them depends on the magnitude of weather at any given time. Then we had alert counties. That is the second level. There are only 9 then. And only 5 counties were at alarm.
That's the extreme now.
Alarm, not really extreme,
yes,
alarm.
Alarm level.
In November, Kilifi fell at emergency because you come from normal, alert, alarm,
okay,
emergency. And therefore, Kilifi by November fell down to emergency, but we were able to recover very quickly, and by December, they came back to alarm. We expected the short trains, but they came, but they were not equally distributed, and they were also stressed, meaning the pasture did not recover, neither did we harvest any water, and they failed 2-3 weeks, no more rains. The situation when we came back in January, we sat down again. We have an interministerial committee that sits down every 2 weeks, directed by the president. We also have a technical committee that sits at the secretary to the cabinet.
Yes.
That's Mr. Kenya's office, of all the PSs that sit every week from October, monitoring the situation. They sat, our committee sat down again, the second week now of October. And the report now from the early warning system were very clear that 11 counties were now at alert, that we had no more county that was on normal.
Okay.
They were now, 11 of them are now alert. 12 of them were now alarm.
Okay.
We are only lucky that none of them is on emergency.
Okay.
But what does that mean? It means even when a county gets to alert level, it means you have to feed those people, almost give them full package
daily.
But when they fall at alarm, it means now you are feeding them from breakfast, lunch, and dinner or supper.
And you say, Bwana Waziri, that currently we have at least 12 counties. We have 12 counties that are at that level, alarm, that have to be fed from breakfast, lunch to dinner.
Full ratio.
Yes.
That is the situation as it is now.
Now, of course, yesterday you led a delegation to State House to report to the president the current situation as it is. And one of the things that you told him, according to the dailies this morning, is that the situation is under control. Is that true?
That is, somebody is quoting me out of context. The government, we have, and I issued a statement on Friday, and I assured Kenyans that we are on top of the things. We have sat down, and up to now, if you compare, because it's good also to be fair, if you compare every 4 or 5 years, there is drought in this country.
Yes.
You look at situation, 2011, 2009, what happened? A time like this one, we would be talking of how many Kenyans have died. You would not have called me here to ask me how the situation is.
Yes.
You would have come here to dress the government down, how shameful it is for Kenyans to die. Now we are still discussing on a situation whereby we are saying that yes, now you can start seeing the people who really malnutrition and.
But Bwana Waziri, according to what the president said yesterday, is that he directed a realignment of the budget. Yes?
Yes.
Both at the national and county levels. That means that it wasn't in the plan at budgeting stage last year. We do know, and you said it just now, that drought is cyclic. It comes every 4 or 5 years. So it's something we can predict. Yes, the weather experts came out with a forecast that the short rains might not be as we expected in October, but surely, when Waziri, we knew that drought at some point would come. How come we're never able to budget for this? And now is when you're asking the county governments, the national government, can we realign our budgets?
Fred, let me first of all finish what I was saying.
Yes.
That it's malnutrition in the country. The levels are high. And this one are not only caused by the drought situation. Even when there is no drought, we experience those cases. Coming back on the level of preparedness, again, President never called for any emergency meeting yesterday. I've told you, we brief the President. We meet every 2 weeks. And President has directed that we must report to him.
Yes.
That is what we do every fortnight. So it was a normal meeting. About preparedness again, In October, again, we issued a statement. When situation, we predicted the situation must be worsening. We called all the multi-agencies that deal with issues of humanitarian, our development partners, whom we have been working together closely, and we've even involved the county governments again, this time not at a very high level. We had a CAB memo, and Cabinet sat to deal with the situation in the country, and we addressed it in 4 ways. First was the immediate. What are you going to do immediately?
Yes.
Because by November, December, the situation was still severe. And we came up with a budget whereby immediate we had to spend 5.4 billion. The second phase, that is short term, we had to spend.
This is as of October.
As October.
Yes. As
October, when we predicted the first early warning system, we sat down, Cabinet passed, and I can show you the memo, which I can produce now. 5.4 billion for immediate. That was for the month of November, December. Then we had the short term, 9 billion set aside for the month of January, February, March to April.
Yes.
And then we had the immediate, the medium term, which is now May, June, and even long term clusters until September. So the government is prepared for the situation.
Okay.
Yeah. Going extreme, we can deal with it until October. Plans are into place. What have we done so far? The government released the first disbursement, and that is why you can see no county, and you have not seen any politician criticizing the government on the efforts you have taken. We have involved them. For the first time, I ensured that food distribution will reach the people. We put measures into place whereby immediately food is collected from the National Cereals and Produce Board. We write a letter to the Member of Parliament, to the governor, informing them that we have released food to their counties.
So and the distribution is being done at county level?
Distribution is being done.
Okay.
Areas like Coast Province, and especially Kilifi, which is worst hit, we involve Red Cross in distribution of food.
Yes.
We allowed the agencies to come and monitor the situation so that the government will be telling the truth. They are involved. And therefore, to this date, I can assure you, Baringo took me by surprise. Because by the second week of December, they are at moderate. They jumped from moderate to extreme. We've been monitoring.
Yes.
What have I done? Immediately, I can assure you, as late as 10 o'clock last evening, we are loading trucks.
Yes.
Lorries, ferrying food to Baringo. By tomorrow, I'll be there personally distributing food in Baringo East, other parts of Baringo. I'll be going to Isiolo tomorrow.
Yes. The
cabinet secretaries are already directed from next week to monitor themselves the situation. Eugene Wamalwa is also directed. Water Bossas, take action. The Minister for Agriculture directed, upscale the issue of our offtake. Because by the end of the day, you remember 2011, we lost 70% of our animals. Because what really kills the animal is not more of pasture. It's more of water.
Yes. Those
water sources, we try to track them.
But Bwana Waziri, when it comes to some of those mitigation measures that the government has put in place, we've had a lot of complaints, like from some of the communities in Samburu and Turkana, that this offtake program came a little bit too late. And it goes back to the issue of planning. That yes, it is a cyclic problem. Right now you say, if at all we have drought this year, in the next 4 or 5 years, it will be back. But we always appear to be caught flat-footed and get to crisis level very fast when it comes to drought. That yes, we know this year there could be drought, but then within a few months, hey, okay, now let's get money, do this, do the other, in a very short span of time. Is it that our planning has a loophole somewhere, and that I know falls squarely on your ministry?
It's important that you are seeking information we should get.
Yes.
My friend, as per yesterday, we still had 1.5 million for offtake that was not used. Why? You see, the communities, pastoral communities, attach sentimental value to their animals, and they always hope that it will rain tomorrow. which is very good. They also already have a lot of hope it will rain tomorrow.
They're saying they're reluctant to
sell
yeah.
at to dispose good time. Like now, the body condition is deteriorating every one day. We have warned them, and if you remember very well when I issued the statement on Friday, I was very clear in my mind, and I told them, because the fallback position, the last resort for pastoralists, is always coastal region. That is where now we have a pasture, yeah, forage a bit of it. When the situation is becoming from extreme now to a rain coming again. That was the first area that fell at the extreme condition.
Yes.
Meaning the pastoralists have no fallback position. Our neighbors, if you have been monitoring, they are also hard hit. In fact, other neighboring countries, not good to talk about other countries, they are experiencing, yeah, the number of people they are feeding are more than what the Kenyans are feeding.
How do you explain the fact
now
that people in Turkana now are crossing over into Uganda and South Sudan? And that's one of the questions I needed to ask. But are they having are they having it any easier?
It's not easy even there. In fact, the conflict also will be coming up, because also the other areas are also stressed. So this drought is so severe than any other drought you have faced. And therefore, if last time you lost 70%, we might lose more than that. We have already warned. We have the money for offtake. But you see, as usual, even the offtake we had in December, most of the animals could not reach Nairobi. They died on the way. So if you sold those animals in good time, yeah, then we have people would have been left with money in their pocket.
Yes.
So I can tell you, we have the money. We can show you, because even the 5.4 billion, we never exhausted some of the departments, because there was no demand then.
Okay.
So the government, I can assure you, even right now, the instructions are very clear. This time, we are also not only going to do offtake and try to transport. We have decided to do the offtake, but form a committee, county committee, whereby you shall identify, you do offtake, slaughter the animals there, distribute to the meat. Not transport, either it's in excess, transport the meat. But most of the meat, give it as a ratio, consumed locally.
Now, there's also the issue of school feeding programs that have been carried out in partnership with other organizations like the WFP. And in one of the stories on the dailies this morning is that WFP has had to halt one of those programs, I think, in Samburu or Turkana because of lack of funds. Can the government come in and assist in such a situation? Because I know the school feeding program was something big even for the Jubilee administration.
Yes, the World Food Program, they alerted us in November that they might not be able to feed the schools. They have difficulties. We have the letter with us. We require 295 million for school program. But this, they also did it. They had the regular programs they were funding. But we have a situation now whereby even other schools now require to be fed. So we are expanding in a way that we are going to cover even other areas that were never affected before. Like now, the food I'm sending to Baringo, we have instruction to the county commissioner that immediately we receive the food, the first release will be to schools, even to secondary schools, and to take care even for school fees. Because
so you're saying you're resuming the school feeding program across the country, or at least
all affected areas will be fed. But remember also, there are also other areas that are traditionally okay, they are food sufficient, but now they're also affected. Look at some areas of western Kakamega. It's already affected. Homa Bay, even last time we fed them. I gave Miri some food for distribution. We look at Central Province, the Rua Muranga, the Raka, the parts of Meru bordering Isiolo. So there are areas that are already affected that you never expected. But Bomet area, downstream Bomet, they are also affected.
Now this is beyond the 23 that we are
beyond the 23
that we are counting.
In fact, by October, we were talking of 1.3 million people who require to be fed. I can assure you now, we are more than 2 million. We are waiting for the next report on 27th, and we shall be able to tell Kenyans now how many number of people are affected. Why are we doing this? Because you cannot blame anybody. These are natural occurrences.
Yes.
It's about climate change. You cannot be shy. You cannot say that I'm hiding this information. We are to give Kenyans the actual situation as it is, so that they can be able to take even other necessary measures. Once Kenyans are enlightened on the situation and they understand it, they will help the government. For example, you saw Amarwa yesterday pleading with Kenyans on how to use water. When Kenyans come to realize it is true we are faced by this situation, they also help us to mitigate the process. On Friday, we met all the multinational agencies again, and we sat down, and they are coming up with a report on how all of us will have collaboration. And in that meeting, 10 governors attended the meeting, and other counties that were not governors never came for the meeting. They had powerful representation. We have agreed on one thing: there is no politics in this. It is the country. It's about our people. Yeah, we sat down. Kingi was there, Nanok was there, all of us. And we agreed that we are going to work together. We formed a committee together, so that we are going to look at it. For example, Dando, go to Tana River, tell us exactly where can we have water points so that people are not going to suffer. Wildlife will get water. Tell us which pockets, even within the county, because even in a county, in a constituency, in a location, you get that there are extreme cases. Can you go and flush out those people who are in dire need? And that is how far we are collaborating now as a government with other agencies.
Bwana Waziri, of course, the drought situation now is affecting other exercises, for example, the ongoing voter registration that's now on its 4th day. And of course, the numbers that are being reported are way below what was expected. Like IEBC says that they're registering about less than half, probably 92,000 voters every day, against a target of 200,000 every day. Are you still hopeful that probably the 6 million target could still be attained?
In fact, the actual number 82,000 against 200. But if you look at it, I watched your news yesterday, and you can see everywhere, all the regions, the systems, the patterns are the same. Meaning there is no issue of drought. Because if you look at distribution,
but pastoralist communities are affected because they are not in one place. They keep moving from place to place in search of pasture now, and that has affected the situation. It
affects the situation sometimes, but in most cases, the patterns will always tally almost the same, because they are permanently migrating. There is no single time you say that pastoralists are found here. But there are certain seasons. There are certain seasons you can say you expect them to be at this particular place because they have their own patterns. For example, if you go to Isiolo, like now, Isiolo, some areas are moderate because their system is so clear that this area is no-go zone at this particular time of the year. And that is why they are surviving. And you hear a lot of conflicts now in Isiolo because Laikipia, Sabulu, everybody is now concentrated. And these people are saying, okay, we preserved our grass. Why did you do the same? So you can only monitor the pattern a certain season where they will be. But it depends on the time of the year. But this time around, they are far. This might affect. But if you look at the patterns as by yesterday, it's clear. It's uniform across the country. And Kenyans behave almost the same.
So they're all waiting for the final days.
Because you can see some parts of the country, the leaders are saying, oh, this time around, we must register in big numbers. Oh, we must, because we know this is a trick, this is a secret. But is the secret working up to now? Because Kenyans, you still behave the same way.
Waziri, you've been quoted by the media saying that probably in areas Mount Kenya region, you expect 3.3 million potential new voters to register. Do you think with the current trend, 82,000 daily, you'll actually hit that target?
We will not hit the target. We have to work hard. Up to now, we still have a chance. We still have a chance. But
realistically, do you think you'll even get to 50% of that?
We might get over 50% we shall get.
So 1.5 million?
1.5 above. I want to assure you the patterns will still be the same. So, for example, 2 years ago, we heard of exaggerated figures that this region has registered this number of ID card, this one. You see, there are some areas people take issues seriously. For example, in the month of April to the month of November, Mount Kenya region registered 950 new ID cards in a span of only 4 months. We surpassed like 4 regions being registered for over 2 years.
Yes.
Meaning it depends on what you attach.
But that number is yet to register as voters.
That number is yet to register. And this is scientific because these are figures and they are there. Everybody know. Even we know at every polling station how many people we are supposed to register. It's about your effort now. I can assure you, you are upping the game.
But does it not complicate your numbers now? Because I'm sure everyone is doing the mathematics. That this is the number of votes we have. These are the number of registered voters that we have as of now. 82,000 daily. You should be worried. Remember, tyranny of numbers was a real thing, and it helped you.
Yes. And that is why we need to strategize even further. And things are going to be put into place. And you see, everybody has their own secret. Even
if you get 50% of your target, you'll still be okay?
We expect more than 50% in our region. And our region means expanded regions where we require our support. And
okay, but Waziri, let's now talk some politics. And yesterday, your side of government lost probably one of your very vocal foot soldiers, and that is the former Secretary General of the now defunct TNA, Onyango Oloo, who defected to ODM. What does that make you feel? Because he came out and you look at the dailies this morning. Both the Standard and the Daily Nation have that as a splash headline. Onyango Oloo says he has secrets against Jubilee and is going to take them to ODM.
You know, in the ranking of generals, you have generals who are really decorated.
Yes.
Proper, through merit.
Yes.
And there are generals who can decorate themselves. Shout the loudest. That I'm general this and this, general Kayafa. You can name yourself whatever. But you have never been the battlefield. True, there are people who assume, and you know, politics about perception. There's a way I can pretend that I'm on top of things, that I'm the most dependable, reliable defender of the system. But if you come to the ranking of the general, he's just a private.
But a Secretary General of a party is a very senior official.
It's okay.
He must have a lot of inside information on the happenings in TNA.
He was the Secretary General of TNA.
Yes.
But my friend, in football, because Kenyans love football, if you look at teams like Arsenal, Manchester United, Manchester United, they are owners of the club, the board. Then you have to come to the management. We have Mourinho. We might think Mourinho is the owner of Manchester United, or Wenger is the owner. But just then the technical team is there, and their players. There is Rooney, there is Ronaldo.
So you're not worried at all by those proclamations?
If Ronaldo today leaves
Manchester United.
No, Ronaldo
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid.
Yes.
Does it mean that is the head of the club? And also, it's about team players. My friend, if you come to TNA was organized, and I'm privy to all this information. At one given time, I was to become the TNA organizing secretary. So you also know the party inside out.
Yes. So there are no secrets.
If this guy was so useful to our side, to our alignment, would you allow a general who is reliable to leave?
So you're saying he was not as useful as he's trying to say?
So he's trying to say he can blow his own trumpet. By the end of the day, my friend Oloo Onyango is a man on the run. Oloo Onyango knows where he belongs. He can pretend he has a dossier of a Jubilee, but he knows somewhere there is a dossier waiting him. He's one of the people who are running away because you want to say, this is happening to me, you are persecuting my community.
Are you saying...
And Onyango knows that, exactly. He knows what he's running away from.
Are you saying you have a dossier against Onyango Oloo?
I'm telling you, Oloo Onyango knows that he's running away. He's a man on the run. He knows what is about to happen.
So are you saying the story is not over?
You know, every Kenyan, when today I start, if I have information, I know something is going to happen to me. The second thing I do is to jump out there, and start shouting loudly about the establishment. So that when I'm touched, I'll just now my community, you can see I'm being persecuted. I'm a Mataya, nothing.
Okay.
Olo Onyango,
Yes.
he's a good man. Can speak good English than me. Yeah, he can be convincing out there. But if you remove a fish from the water, it just die.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Bwana Waziri, asante sana. Thank you so much. That has been Mwangi Kiunjuri, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Devolution and Planning. We've been talking about the drought situation, voter registration, as well as some politics. Power Breakfast continues. Joy Mudhengi has some session. For now, let's just thank the CS. Thank you so much for agreeing to come for this interview. I hope to have you soon for better news about the drought situation.
Thank you very much.
All right, so here we are, Thursday. I think